my crawly pollies, I'm Azriel, and today I will be redesigning the Amazing Digital Circus characters. I'll be giving my opinions on each character individually, while also talking about the last act. Without further ado, let's get started. Pomni is well written in my opinion. However, I do wish that we got to know a little more about her. She is paranoid and pessimistic in the first 2 episodes, and I quite enjoy the growth we get to see from her. You can see the change when Pomni becomes more comfortable with the group and the circus itself. She becomes more outgoing, more social, and speaks her mind. Despite having her own issues, she deeply cares for the people inside of the circus, and we see that in the last act, and really throughout the show in general. However, it's clear she favors Jax. That's clear. I mean, when Gangle broke down in episode 4, she wasn't too pleased. Here we go again. Well, I don't think that's the correct thing to say there, Pomni. I really enjoyed coloring Pomni in this drawing. She's just so appealing to the eye, and I added a little bell thing on her neck. I don't know what it's called, but oh well. If you're watching, you're clearly not here for the vocabulary. I made one of her eyes upside down. I added diamond stockings because I thought it would look rad. It's mid. I regret it heavily, but it is what it is. I love drawing hair and eyes, so while sticking to Pomni's real design, I added a few more strands and a few more segments in her irises. Instead of thick stripes on her shoulder proofs, I made them solid, but with thin accents from the other color. I added sleeves and ruffles, just thought it'd be cute. No other reason, no motive. I really like how she turned out. She's definitely not my favorite redesign, but it's still pretty. Kane is probably one of my favorites in the show. His design is unique, and I love when designs don't exactly fit the mold of what's normal. In a world of seeing men be built like an upside-down Dorito, and fitting the mold of CEO and YN perfectly, I am very happy to see the Amazing Digital Circus break those molds. His head reminds me of one of the wind-up Chatter toys, so I added a little twister on the back. At first, I didn't like or care about Kane. Not at all. I hated him, actually. But he started to grow on me, and it seems that way for a lot of Kane fans, actually. I would love if Gooseworks decided to tell us more about him in the show, but no, it's all on her Tumblr page. Thankfully, I have Tumblr and can find shit out. But what about the casual watchers and people who just don't have Tumblr? They get the Jax show. Woohoo. His design is cool, and I'm trying to make it more Ringmaster coded instead of just a suit. I found this random image on Pinterest, and I thought it looked pretty cool. I love the character arc he had, and the voice acting was amazing. Was he annoying at times? Yes, but he's still a peak character. I really like Ragatha's design, but it just didn't look like a Raggedy Ann to me enough. I've owned multiple Raggedy Anns. Each are slightly different, but all of them have the striped leggings, patchwork, patterns, plaid, something related to that. I changed her bow and added it to her dress. And I added some patchwork to her dress with floral designs. I added a little heart patchwork on her chest and it turned out cute. And I also added the striped red and white leggings. Ragatha is so underrated, and she is so sweet. I see people hate on her for crashing out on Jax, which I don't understand. Jax purposely torments and teases the people, mostly the women in the circus, and nobody bats an eye. But when she does, it's, oh my god, she's so mean! What do you mean? She was pissed for a valid reason. She didn't do it because why not? Ragatha clearly has insecurities and maybe even envy issues, so of course she's not perfect, but I love her character. I wish we had more time on her, much like the rest. Kinger is peak! We love Kinger here. Personally, I love his design and wouldn't change it, but of course this is a redesign video. Kinger is a lovely written character, and his story, the little that we know, is bittersweet. We know about his wife and what happened to her, and the fact he stays in the darkness because it's what calmed her down after abstraction is heartwarming to me. We know very little about what he did at CNA. Thanks to Jax taking up all the screen time. Who said that? Anyways, what we do know about the brain scans and what they were working on is cool. All I really did was change the fur type, extend the robe, and add some gold. I added a monocule and painted the top gold with jewels like a real crown. I also drew a mini Queenie, that way he isn't alone. Gangle's design is pretty plain, but also super cool. I personally have never seen a design like hers, and I'm obsessed. Gangle is an interesting character, and even though she isn't my favorite, she's so cute and layered, and I'm here for it. I am still waiting to find out what the figurine thing is, but I guess we'll never know. It's probably on Tumblr, but fuck that, I am not searching for it. I've searched enough. I added a lot to her, actually. I thickened the ribbon and gave her a collar around her neck. I was considering a scarf, but fuck it, we ball. I gave her ribbons. Ribbons. Making that pun brought vomit to my mouth, so that will not be happening again. I gave her the buns because she's really into anime and kawaii, stuff like that. So I thought I would give her Sailor Moon-like hair, but I forgot the long bits. My bad. I gave her a bow for where her hips are supposed to be, and I gave her a gold rim around her mask. And the moment most of you probably have been waiting for, and the moment I've been dreading. I used to love Jax. All of her acts were for comedic effect and weren't for sick pleasure, like we were led to assume in episode 9 during the scene where Pomni is in her mind. She acted as a secondary or supporting character, like she was meant to be in the beginning. But after episode 5, she quickly became the main for nearly every episode after that. No offense to you Jax fans, but she reminds me of those sad Gacha Life mini-movies that we were all sobbing to in 2019. Now I stand by the quote, "To be cringe is to be free." So I'm not hating to hate. I mean, I have no room to talk. I do like how panic attacks and guilt are represented with her. And personally, I believe they capture those feelings quite well. So props for that. Now for a touchy topic that goes with Jax, which is her becoming trans. I'm going to start off by saying I have nothing against trans Jax. We love seeing trans representation when played right. My only real problem with the trans arc is it wasn't really an arc. It was implied in later episodes, but the implication was barely there at all. From what I have seen, the only real implications that we had in the show was her bedroom and the toxic masculinity and the fear of being seen as weak. At least in my opinion, that was all there really was, but I'm sure there's probably something I have missed and I would love to know. Gooseworks made her a self-insert around the middle of the series, which is why they became so focused on Jax for the rest of the show. Personally, I wish we had an arc from the beginning about their gender identity, and I wish we would have explored it a little more before they abstracted, or at least a little bit more in the memory. I have nothing wrong with it. I see a lot of people hate on the sudden change. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with wanting to make a character trans. And I don't condone people who make fun of Jax just because she's now trans. Personally, Jax is not my favorite. Probably even my least favorite. But I hold nothing against the people who actually like her. People are allowed to like characters that you do not. You shouldn't disrespect someone just because they like a character that you don't. And I do not condone the actions of the people who bully others just because of a character. It's petty, it's stupid, and it's absolute bullshit. I added some more patterns, fluff, a bow tie, and a little squirt flower. Yep, that's what I did. As much as I love Zooble, they remind me of a Disney Channel bad girl stereotype. However, I still love them. They have body dysmorphia and an identity crisis, and I love the way they handle it. They show their struggle, which turns into acceptance later in the show, which I really love to see in media. Their design reminds me of the 80s and 90s, so I added some of the patterns and designs from old cartoons. I kept their key features like their colors, the torso, head, and claw the same, but I messed with the other colors and added some or took away other designs. Zooble, much like Gangle, has a very unique character design. They are shown to be blunt and uncaring, but deep down they do care, especially for Gangle. I wish we had a Zooble episode, just to understand some more about them. And here they all are, folks, all lined up, their final redesigns. I tried to keep it close to the original, but I wanted to just draw and add some patterns and other things. I think Gangle and Kane are my favorite redesigns, and also they're my favorite designs in the show originally. Overall, I really do like this show, and I would definitely recommend it. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time.